Hey everyone! I thought it was time that I tackle the Booktube Newbie Tag and just give everyone a little intro into who I am and what this channel is going to be. So thanks for being here. I'm Rachel and I'm really excited that you stumbled onto this little video. So let's dive in and let's tackle the Booktube Newbie questions. I believe the Booktube Newbie Tag was started by Brenda C, but I believe that their channel is no longer up. So I think the original video no longer, I don't think I can link anything, unfortunately, but clearly their legacy lives on. I was really lucky to go to a grad school program that is in the mountains of Vermont, and it really truly feels like summer camp for adults that love to read. And it's such a special experience, and there are bonfires and professors will read different excerpts around the bonfire, and there are literary themed dances, and you just go to these classes filled with other people who are just in love with literature, and it is such a special place. And I'm so grateful for that experience, and I want to be immersed in that world of literature again. And every time that I am, I'm sort of taken back and transported to that place just a little bit. So part of starting this channel is to find that joy and that love again, in addition to sort of finding my own community now and really focusing on the books that I love and the marginalized voices that I want to raise up. And I really do love the idea of being a resource, if possible, for queer literature, for particularly sapphic literature, and kind of forming a nice little community where people can feel at home. I feel like with a lot of booktubers, I come from an undergrad and a grad degree of studying literature, and I also come from a theater background, and I feel like there's a good cross-section between theater kids or former theater kids and English majors who are now on booktube. So in that sense, I feel like that's pretty common, but there are a few other things that I want to do, or kind of identities that I have or hobbies that I love that I want to weave in. So first of all is crafting. I am a big crafter. I like to crochet. My goal for 2026 is to learn to sew a bit better. I have done, I think, 2 projects on my sewing machine, but besides that, I haven't really done too much. So I want to incorporate crochet and sewing and some crafting here and there. And then also I am a queer reader. I'm a lesbian reader, so I'm excited to really focus on queer books and sapphic books in a big way. I live in an old farmhouse, as you can probably tell from the background here, so maybe incorporating a little bit of that cozy farmhouse vibe onto booktube is a goal for me. And also I work in home shopping, so I would love to kind of bring people behind the scenes here and there if people are interested. What am I most excited for about this new channel? So I'm mostly just excited to have a creative and fun outlet. I was looking back last year and thinking, oh, it feels like I'm just sort of going to work, coming home, going to work, coming home, and then maybe hanging out with friends or my sister periodically here and there. But I didn't necessarily have a creative outlet and something that I could be kind of working towards. And so this really is allowing me that creative expression. I used to do theater professionally and as a hobby before that, and I really miss that, but I'm not, because of my job right now, I'm not able to do any extra theater or kind of have that as a hobby. This is not necessarily a one-to-one comparison with doing theater, but it does give me a project that I can be working on. And I'm really excited just to see what this space can become and the community that can be formed from this space. Oh, I love reading because of the escape and the connection. So firstly, reading, I think so many of us, we love to read because you can escape into another world and you can really envision and be in the shoes of someone who's going through something that maybe you've been through before, or going through something that you would never go through before, or in a whole new world, or in a circumstance that you would never find yourself in. I think we all love reading for the escape factor. It's the same reason we watch a good movie or watch a good TV show. But then I think just as equally, I love reading because it does give you human connection, which is interesting to think about because a lot of times we're alone in a room reading a book, but you are connected to the author and you're connected to the characters. And there's a really, really good play called The History Boys, and it's about boys that are studying to go and get their upper level degrees in history and literature. And the teacher has a line that I'll add it in, but it's essentially about how you can be reading and all of a sudden you read something that you thought was singular to you and was your own experience, and now here it is, like written down for you in a book, and it's like someone has reached out and is holding your hand. And to me, that really sums up why I love reading, and just the levels of emotional depth and humanity and the beauty and the pain that go into reading and writing as an art form it's just fascinating to me, and I absolutely love it. I would say more than any book series, it was really my mom that got me into reading. My mom was a big reader, and she still is a reader, and she would take us to bookstores and have us pick out the books that we wanted to read. And she gave us me and my sisters, my twin sister and myself in particular, her old Nancy Drew books. And I remember as a kid, we would read those Dear America books in middle school, and I really liked those. So I really liked historical fiction to start when I was a kid. Probably part of that was the American Girl doll books. I had Molly. I loved those books. And then as I got a little bit older, I remember being really obsessed with the Song of the Lioness Quartet and absolutely loving that. I actually did pick up a couple of the books in the series that I wanted to reread and see if they still stand up. So be on the lookout for that. I may be doing that in the future, but those are the ones that I think really stand out to me as the books that I loved when I was a kid. Okay, so I would want to ask my favorite booktubers what book they would write. I think that I always think of when Toni Morrison had the quote where she said she just wrote the book that she wanted to read. And I feel like every booktuber probably has that one book that they really want to read that hasn't been written or they haven't found it yet. So I would ask if they were writers, and I know some booktubers are actually writers or are working towards that, but I would ask if you were a writer or if you could write the perfect novel for you, what would you write? So as far as challenges go, I think it's probably just going to be about posting regularly and making sure that I have a clear upload schedule. Right now, I'm trying to upload every Wednesday. So I think just trying to stay consistent and find times when I can film and get the editing done and get everything posted. So that seems like maybe the first challenge. And then quite honestly, I can be a bit of a perfectionist. And with that comes sort of like, what are the levels of success? And I actually want to stay away from that. This truly is like a passion project. It's something that I really love and want to do, but it's really just about giving myself permission to have a project that can be fun, that really is a passion of mine. And I think I want to really challenge myself to just keep it what it is going to be. And I don't have to have things perfect. I don't have to be gaining thousands of subscribers. I just want to consistently post and post things that I'm passionate about and try things out and have a creative outlet. But I do think that's going to be a challenge for me because as someone who can be a bit of a perfectionist, I can sort of always be chasing, oh, what is the marker of success for this? And I don't want to do that. I just want this to be a fun, easygoing place that hopefully can evolve I think right now I'm still figuring out what it's going to be, and I'm excited for that journey. So I really want to challenge myself to stay in that mindset and not be concerned about, oh, well, the number of subscribers or the number of watch hours or anything like that, because that's not my goal. That's not why I started this channel. It's really just to have that creative outlet. Oh, I feel like I could talk about this for hours and hours, but the types of books that I love to read, lit fic, contemporary fic, I love reading classics. I love reading retellings of classics. Always super excited to see how classic books that I have studied in school are reinterpreted and reimagined. And I love that. So I'll probably be doing some of that. I love the idea of maybe a video series that kind of follows these reimagined classics. I know there's quite a few Gatsby retellings right now because Gatsby came into public domain, so people now can sort of take their own spin onto it. But I also do read horror. Queer horror is a very interesting genre to me. I haven't read a ton of it, but I'm excited to read more. I do read sci-fi. I do read fantasy here and there. I really read just about everything except for romance. I'm a little bit too cynical for romance. I just can't really get into it. So maybe, we'll see. And I've even tried like sapphic romance and it just doesn't. So I'm not a romance reader, but I do read pretty broadly. I also read nonfiction. If it gives you any hint, I most recently finished The Lilac People by Milo Todd, which I would 1000% recommend. Historical fiction, so fascinating and heartbreaking, and really gives you insight into some situations that happened during World War II with trans men and with queer people, and does it in a really eye-opening way, but also it is really heartbreaking, but beautiful. And I learned so much. And I spent like an hour afterwards researching and following up based on the author's notes. And I ordered some books from my library that are going to help me read even more about this topic. So I love that. And then I am most likely next going to start Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. So that, I guess, is kind of a shift over to fantasy. So that gives you a little hint. That is sort of a taste of my reading. Oh, I also have 2 books of poetry out from the library. I would love to read a bit more poetry. I also really love reading plays. So I love seeing theater and going to theater, but I also really do love reading plays and buying the script and reading through. And that's not something that I really see too often on BookTube, at least for the channels that the algorithm kind of sends me. So it could be something that is out there, but I really like the idea of maybe incorporating plays here and there as well. So I think that about covers it. Just a little short check-in today. I do want to do another video coming up where I talk about my 2026 reading goals and crafting goals that maybe I'll post if I have time before the end of the week. If not, I'll post it next week. If you are new on BookTube also, please leave me a comment down below. Tell me what your channel is so I can follow you. I would love to follow you. And let me know what you love to see on BookTube, if there are certain videos that you really adore, or just let me know what you're reading and what you have been really enjoying. But anyway, it was so great catching up with you and chatting with you. Goes without saying, everyone is welcome here, and I hope that you'll stick around. I would also say, if you are watching this and wishing that you were starting your own BookTube channel, I've only posted, 8 videos or so, and I already am grateful that I have done it. So even if it stays at my 10 subscribers that I currently have, I'm happy that I did it. And it's been so long where I've been thinking, oh, I really want to do this. And for a while I thought, oh no, I can't do that because of my job, or I can't do that because of XYZ. And I am just really glad that I was like, no, we're gonna try this. We're gonna do this and give myself a little project to work on. So if that is maybe your sign to get started, and then let me know in the comments if you start your own, and I will be your first subscriber. All right, my friends, I think that about does it. I don't think there's too much else that I wanted to add in. I hope you have a really great rest of your day, and I will talk to you very soon. I've got lots of ideas, and it's just finding the time to do them, but I hope that I can make this a big priority for 2026, and I'm going to. All right, I will talk to you soon. Thanks, everyone.